Welcome to The Simple Way. I am Delilah, and today we are in the kitchen, and for dinner we are making homemade chicken pot pies, which happens to be a favorite in the house. To learn how we made this, keep watching. For this recipe, you'll need chicken, onion, carrots, celery, potatoes, frozen peas, heavy whipping cream, chicken broth, oil, salt, Italian seasoning, black pepper, garlic, fresh chopped thyme, flour, and butter. All measurements will be listed below. So if you're following this recipe, just make sure that you're using a large pot because we're going to cook everything in this one pot. For my chicken, I'm using dark meat cut into small 1-inch cubes. For this recipe, you can really use white meat if you prefer, but I just like dark meat because it's more juicier. Salt and pepper to taste. Next, add in some thyme, and if you do in fact use fresh thyme, just make sure that you add it in early like you see here, and that's so that it'll cook down and have time to soften up. Give it a quick stir. Next, add butter, and side note, I'm using equal parts butter to flour, which is very important because the butter will diminish the floury taste. So if you make this and adjust the measurements for whatever reason, maybe you're making a smaller amount, if you have to adjust the measurements of the flour, just make sure that your butter and flour measurements are always equal. So since I like my pot pie to be kind of soupy, I'm adding in a good amount of chicken broth, but if you prefer your pot pie to be thick, then just reduce the amount of chicken broth. After you add in your broth, continue to cook your filling for about 10 to 15 minutes on medium-high setting, then add in your heavy whipping cream. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and from this point on, taste your filling. Add more salt and pepper if needed, and lastly, adding your potatoes and peas, and that's basically it. I tasted this and it was so good. The broth reminded me so much of clam chowder, and I just love clam chowder. So now you can let this simmer for around 10 minutes if you prefer, and here it is. It's done. That's it. So for the crust, we're going to keep it simple, okay? Because this channel is about keeping it simple. So we're going to keep it simple. I'll be using Kroger pre-made pie crust, which you can find at the grocery store. So basically just unroll the dough, lay it out evenly, corner to corner in your baking dish of choice, and pinch those edges. Add your pie filling, then cover the top layer with dough. Simple. That's it. So again, pinch those edges, and that'll ensure that your broth does not spill out while it's baking. egg wash to give your crust a nice golden brown glaze. And lastly, cut some vent holes in the top of the pie, and you, my friend, you are done. That is it. Now, little FYI, this was actually my second batch. I'll give y'all a quick look at the first batch that we made using homemade pastry dough. I'll also post a link later for anybody interested in this pastry dough recipe. As you can see, you've got some options here. You can either make it from scratch or you can use pre-made pie crust dough. Now, I won't lie to you and say that they taste the same, because in my opinion, they really do not. Of course, homemade anything is always better. However, pre-made is more convenient. So I have 2 batches of pot pies here from my large familia, and both pies are done. These actually were made just last night, okay? And this one here is the pot pie with the homemade pastry dough. It was so yummy, very hearty and filling, and then the crust was so bomb, buttery tasting and flaky. I mean, so good. So now here's the pie with the pre-made store-bought crust. Not bad. I mean, we'll be eating this one tonight for dinner. Look how good this looks though. Wow, so good. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Try this recipe, you will love it, and I'll see you guys in my next video.